If you're on a GLP-1 and the scale is moving slow, people love to jump straight to, it must be the food. You must be eating too much. You must be eating the wrong things. You must not be trying. But what if that is not always the whole story? What if some of us didn't start GLP-1 from a place of eating fast food every night, drinking tons of calories, or cutting thousands of calories overnight? What if some of us were already trying, already eating better, watching things like sodium, protein, blood sugar, portions, and our bodies still needed help? Last week, I had one of the most stressful weeks I've had in a long time, relying on things like convenient food, eating at sporadic times. I even had pizza one day. I was definitely not eating perfect picture little health meals out of meal prep containers. And I still managed to lose a pound. So today, I want to talk about why slow weight loss on GLP-1 isn't always as simple as it must be the food. Welcome to Slow and Steady with Andy. I'm Andy, and I am on Mounjaro for type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, PCOS, and, of course, very slow weight loss. This week, we're talking about why slow weight loss on GLP-1 is not always just about food, especially when your starting point, health history, blood sugar, hormones, stress are all part of the picture. I'll also share my week 2 update on 12.5 milligram Mounjaro, as well as quickly take my week 3 injection with y'all. Last week actually gave me a real life example of something that I've been thinking about. As far as last week's eating, I wasn't overeating. I was relying solely on convenient food. And when I say convenient, it's still not convenience food. I'm not talking about like drive-through, fast food, anything like that. It's just things I tend to pick up at Sam's Club or Walmart for convenience, like already grilled chicken breasts that I'll keep in the freezer and bring out when I know I want some chicken to use on a salad or things like that. Typically, though, I try to prep my own food for the week. So if I wanted grilled chicken for the week, I would grill fresh chicken that I bought and season, all of that. But I didn't do it last week. And then, like I mentioned, that Friday we ended up having pizza. It's really not something totally uncommon for us to do on a Friday because we both have pretty busy lives with the types of jobs that we have, and we're very involved with church. I'm also very involved with this thing behind me. If you want to know what it is, let me know in the comments down below. What else? I have a full-time job. Did I already say that? And things like spending time with friends and family and just other life commitments. We have a very, very busy life. So when Friday comes along, sometimes we want to have something that's super convenient, like pizza. And lo and behold, even having pizza last week, I lost a pound. Wow, imagine that. I was really kind of shocked because if you've been following me for a while, I have been just kind of at this stall where I'm staying in the same 5-pound range. I don't know, what feels like 6 months now. So to finally get another pound, that felt really, really good. But it's also confusing because when you hear all the time people telling you, and by people, I'm not talking about people in my circle. I don't keep people like that in my circle, but people on social media always telling you that you must be doing this, you must be doing that. It does make you wonder, like, okay, what's going to happen when I weigh myself after having this pizza? But, it was okay. The world did not end. It was not a perfect week, but it also wasn't an overeating week. Convenient food is not automatically overeating. Convenient food is sometimes the only reason why I meet my protein goals for the week. And this is where my starting point matters because Mounjaro didn't come into my life and suddenly remove some daily fast food eating habit. That was not the life I was living. I started Mounjaro in June of 2025, but I've actually been really watching what I eat since early 2020 when I was diagnosed with Meniere's. And I was diagnosed with Meniere's after I got a concussion, and I still had a lot of side effects going on after that concussion. So through neurologists, MRIs, blood work, ear, nose, and throat doctors, all kinds of things, it was determined that I have Meniere's. And once I found that out, I started researching how to help the symptoms of Meniere's. And one of the top things is watching sodium. So with Meniere's, what happens is I get a fluid buildup behind my eardrum. You may have heard, especially with a lot of kids, they call them tubes in their ears. And that fluid is in front of the eardrum. I actually had tubes in my ears when I was a kid, but this particular fluid is behind the eardrum, and tubes will not help that. So one of the big things to help it is watching sodium, so I'm not retaining a lot of fluid. I also am on diuretics, not only for high blood pressure, but for controlling the fluid to help my Meniere's. And so from that point on, I have really been watching what I'm eating as far as sodium. And even if you don't go into a health journey in the aspect of, I'm going to cut out all these things and eat organic and all this, when you start watching sodium, it automatically gets you in line in a lot of ways, because you instantly rule out a lot of foods that are out there. For example, ramen noodles. As a kid, I loved a bowl of ramen noodles, but if you've never looked at the amount of sodium, if you eat the whole packet that comes with ramen noodles, that is like a day's worth of sodium in one little bowl of food. So I really started watching what I ate, and I started bringing things into my diet that were more whole foods. Not perfect foods, because I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to do anything extreme. I've been there and done that with keto for 3 to 4 years, and it worked for like a minute, and then it didn't. It raised my cholesterol, it raised my blood pressure extremely, and I 100% believe that it put me in the position that I'm in today with metabolic issues like everywhere. So, no extremes, but I am totally for eating healthier. And I bring this all up because I wasn't eating perfectly, but I was not starting at the same place that some people are starting from. And this is all part of what my doctor helped me understand. And from that point on, it really changed my perspective of my slow progress. When my doctor explained to me that I might not be losing weight rapidly because I wasn't starting at like a 3,000, 4,000 calorie a day diet and then dropping down to 1,800, which my doctor and nutritionist have me at 1,600 to 1,800 calories a day. She was pointing out that if I wasn't starting at a calorie count way up here, then I'm not going to just suddenly drop a lot of weight. And it really helped me to start feeling like less of a failure, or feeling like the medication wasn't working, because I point out all the time that this medication is working. First and foremost, this medication was made to treat type 2 diabetes, and it has done that and more. I started at 7.9 A1C, and within 3 to 4 months, I dropped down to 5.4, which is not even considered pre-diabetic range anymore. That is amazing. So it is working, but my body, my metabolism, my hormones, everything came into this in such a wreck that I believe that my body's just trying to catch up, and it just needs to heal. And as soon as everything comes together, that is when it's going to start processing calories correctly, because that is the problem. I'm not overeating, but the calories that I do take in, where a normal person who say doesn't even do any extra physical activity, their body naturally burns through some of those calories. But for whatever reason, my system just doesn't do it. So yes, I could do like the Biggest Loser type of workouts where I'm doing extreme workouts for 8 hours a day instead of, keeping a job so we can pay the mortgage. Yeah, I would probably drop weight, but it's not realistic and it's not healthy. And I am perfectly okay that this is going to take longer. So if I'm okay with it and it's my body, anybody who's watching this that might want to give their comment, what do you care? It's my body and my life. But anyways, we're not going to get into that. You can go watch a couple videos ago if you want to see me kind of maybe somewhat rant about some of the comments I'm getting. But anyways, let's move on. This is why the "you must be overeating" assumption irritates me so much. It is just too simple for what some of us are actually dealing with. And I'm just amazed at the comments coming in. So many of us really are going through this same thing and we're feeling the same way, like, what are we doing wrong? But as you can see, if you're going through the comments, seeing the conversation going on in the community on my channel, you definitely should realize that we are not in this alone. We are Team Turtle going through this together. And because we are the ones walking in our shoes and living the life, we know that to just assume we're overeating is totally way off base. As for me personally and the comments people are directing at me, they're just not seeing everything in one video. At this point in my YouTube life, I don't have the time to give you guys like, this is what I eat in a day type of content. That content requires a lot of time, a lot of video pieces throughout the day, which I am heavily monitored at work. My keystrokes, my time in front of the computer. I work remote at home. And when you work remote at home, the company decides that they own every second of your 8-hour day. So I can't just like get up and go into my kitchen and record this quick thing that I'm about to eat or whatnot. Maybe someday in the future, if life changes a little bit, then I would love to give you that type of content. So all these people coming in and saying what they're saying, they're assuming. And I'm sure that you probably also have dealt with some of that type of unwelcomed feedback in your life. But I do also want to point out that I'm not throwing food out of the conversation. I'm just tired of people making food the entire conversation. For a lot of us, this isn't just about eat less and move more. Some of us are trying to work with bodies that have been out of sync for years. This is why I don't want to call Mounjaro a failure just because my weight loss is slow. And I'm going to quickly run through some of the non-scale amazing things that Mounjaro has done for my life since starting. Number one, blood pressure medication reduced in half. My blood pressure went from starting point of 155-ish over 90-ish, and I currently, at half a dose, am sitting at 127 over 78 consistently. My A1C, like I told you, 7.9 to 5.4. Mental health, so much better. I've just felt so much happier. I haven't been going through the depression that I typically go to, especially seasonal depression. My strength and mobility, you guys, I cannot tell you how much stronger I am physically just after a year. I was having to take a gallon of milk out of the refrigerator with two hands. I did not have the strength to hold it with one hand. I could not squat down to get some of my things out of my cupboards. And now I am lifting and I am squatting and I am all over the place. And it is just a miracle to me. It's a miracle. And yes, my weight loss has been slow, but I started this at 267 pounds and I am at 234 pounds. So that is still progress. I'm getting there. I'm getting there slowly, and that's okay. And if you are getting there slowly, that is okay too. And if this video is helping you feel less alone as a GLP-1 slow responder, please hit that like button. For sure, subscribe to come along with me on this journey together. And if YouTube prompts you to, hit that hype button, because that will help push this video out to many more people who may be feeling alone and need to hear this message too. And I just want to point out again that I want to be really clear, because I know how the internet likes to take one sentence and run away with it. I'm not saying that food doesn't matter. I'm not saying that calorie intake doesn't matter. I'm not saying that I can eat whatever I want and expect results. I'm definitely not saying ignore your doctor or nutritionist. But what I am saying is that food intake or types of food are not the whole story. I am saying, because I'm living it, that slow weight loss does not automatically mean overeating. I am saying that starting point and health history matter. With that being said, let's get into the weekly update part of this video. So I am giving you an update on my second week on 12.5 milligram Mounjaro. So just to fly through the points, appetite suppression is pretty good. I still don't think that it's as strong as it was on 10 milligram, go figure, but it's good. My weight, I'm going to put up on the screen here. This is a screenshot of my Scales app, and you are going to see that I weigh, I think it's dead on what I weighed last week, or maybe point something a little bit different, but I'm still at the 234 pounds, which I'll take it as long as we're not creeping back up. I am fine. I am fine with it. This week still has been a little bit of a stressful week. Just to let anyone know that's still here and was sharing their concern for our little girl, Kitty Maddie. Today was her procedure and everything went great. She is back home and tired, I'm sure, but she did eat right away. So that's a really good sign that her mouth isn't in too much pain. But yes, our girl is doing good and expected to fully recover. So thank you from the bottom of both of our hearts, my hubby and I, for your thoughts, concerns, prayers for our sweet little girl. As far as energy level, I have really good energy when it's not during my work hours. I really been having trouble sleeping last week and then going into this week. The work stress going on has me kind of like an insomnia. Usually I'm in bed by 10 p.m. or 10:30 p.m. and now I'm like still feeling wide awake at 11:30, 12 o'clock. That's not good. So I have been going back to taking my melatonin every night, and it really does seem to help. Sometimes though I feel groggy the next day. So I'm just trying to get my sleep under control, because I know that plays a huge part in raising cortisol. And if your cortisol is going crazy, you really will not lose weight. So we will keep working on that. I don't see my doctor again until next month in July, but I'll definitely be talking through this some more with her. I'm still getting a lot of physical activity, trying to get my garden totally weeded and everything planted, everything ready to start growing and be beautiful for me all summer. And that definitely it really takes it out of me, especially it's been killing my hip, all the bending and squatting out there in the garden, but I love doing it, and I especially love when I start to see it grow. It just makes life feels so much better for me. And I'll try to share with you once the garden is growing. I'll give you some screenshots so you can see how things are going back there. All right, so I think that is everything. Let me get my injection ready. I'm going to go back to injecting in my arm because if you saw last week, my thigh, not only did it hurt, but it was a bleeder. And I know I'm a big girl, but I don't have a lot of fat on the front of my thighs. So I think my thighs just might be out for doing the injection because, man, that was rough. So I'm going to stick to injecting in my bat wings and we'll see how it goes. If I feel like my appetite suppression is starting to go down, then I'll just go ahead and try back in my thighs. And before you ask, because I'm sure some of you might ask, and that's cool, that's okay, I don't inject in my stomach because every time I've injected in my stomach, I have nothing. I have nothing good or bad. So I'm sticking to my arms and, well, maybe my thighs. So, all right, let me get this together and we'll do this. All right, y'all. My favorite part. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. No, I do not hold down the top button. So again, if any of you are wondering, if you go to Eli Lilly's website, they will tell you that if you have shaky hands or you think that by lifting your finger, you might automatically have this reaction, to go ahead and keep your thumb down. But it's a click and it's going. Taking your thumb off does not make this pop back up and stop the injection. Also, once the second click happens, you can lift up. Holding this down doesn't do anything because at that second click, that means this is already retracted and everything is in your system. So good to go. Hopefully you heard all that since I didn't have my microphone up here ready to go. So week 3 is going through my system and I am still very hopeful about Mounjaro. I am still very, very hopeful that I'm going to reach the goals that I am hoping to reach. They just might be a little bit slower. If you're a slow responder and people keep making you feel like your slow weight loss must mean that you're eating too much, I really hope this video helped you to feel not alone and to feel validated. Keep working with your doctor. Keep paying attention to your blood sugar, your protein, your movement, but most importantly, how your body is actually responding. But please do not reduce your whole journey to one meal, one snack, one stressful week, one number on the scale. Food matters, but food may not be the whole story. Slow and steady still counts. And I will see y'all next week. Bye! A lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change.